tiny little monsters that like to destroy tiny little cities. Here's your look at the new Diamond Select Godzilla Vinimates vinyl figures. Destructive things come in small packages. Before we get a closer look, though, at the brand new Godzilla Vinimate 2-packs, I'd like to thank the folks over at Diamond Select that did provide not one, not two, but all 3 sets that we could have a look at in this video. Following to that, I'm going to bring in my flying saucer tape measure here. It's not really a flying saucer. I don't think it contains tiny little aliens inside, not that I'm aware of at least. But I'm going to measure these. Now, they're all roughly going to be the same size to one another. The Godzillas, at least, and Mechagodzilla will all roughly be about the same size. Rodan is the smallest of the batch, but we're going to kind of just do an average, a law of averages for at least all of them. We're going to first measure off Godzilla 1954, and I think we're going to also stop there as well. First, looking at him in inches, Godzilla from 1954 is about 4 inches in height, or they're just shy of being 10 centimeters tall. One thing I can already tell you I like about these is that they're packaged in 2s. So instead of having to go out and source out these individually, you're buying them by 2s every single time. And to get the set of 6, all you really need to do, again, pick up 3 boxes. You guys are very smart. Looking, though, at the first figure, we're going to kind of start things off here. We're going to work our way across. The first one we're going to have a look at is Godzilla from 1954. Fittingly enough, he is all black and white. All of the figures, by the way, do have posability, but only, sadly, posable in the head. So when you can take the head, yes, you can rotate them all the way around. Godzilla, in many of the cases, though, will run up against the spikes running down the side of his back. So it's going to be a little bit harder to rotate his head all the way around. That can also kill the giant lizard as well. But yeah, they do have heads that rotate back and forth. The arms, while looking as if they could have posability, are actually staction. In fact, really, from like the neck down on all of these, they're staction figures. Vinimates, by the way, are oversized mini-mates. So if you are a big fan of the mini-mate line that have the superposability on those figures, they're essentially just like larger, upscaled figures that don't have that posability, but carries over all the characteristic traits of what mini-mates would be. So like, for example, they have the little C-clamp hands. I guess you could take yourself a tiny little human or something small enough, at least, for Godzilla to hold in his hand. It's a nice-looking Godzilla, though. He's all done here, like I said, in black and white. Little peepers there, brightly done in the white. The center pupils, of course, done in black. Even his teeth are done in gray. It's a really neat-looking figure. Of course, he does have the spikes running down the sides, well, down the single center section of his spine, going all the way off to the side of his tail. The tail also is something that's posable, so I guess that's one thing that's also posable in these figures as well. I said only really the head, but you'd have to kind of beeline it past the whole body, the legs, and get down to the tail where, yes, the tail is also turnable. One that's really interesting, though, is that the back of the packaging only advertises these figures as head swivels, but in fact, all the figures seem to have tail swivels as well. That's the 1954 Godzilla. Packaged along with him is the 1999 Godzilla. I wonder if at some point we are going to be getting the Hollywood Godzilla. Not considered by many to be a true Godzilla, King of the Monsters, but still, I would love to see them certainly tackle the Hollywood Matthew Broderick, that Godzilla, yeah, that one. I'd like to see them at some point. I guess that was 1998, wasn't it? I think that would be fun to see him also being released as a Vinimate. Again, you've got the C-clamp hands there. This one has a lot more color going for him than the 1954 Godzilla, which we can do a comparison quickly. They seem to be of the same size. Maybe you could say just a little bit higher is the 1999 release. This one has definitely a lot more color going. He seems also a little bit more ticked off than the 1954. This one is all done here more in a very dark green with very notable colors of this metallic purple spiking on the ends of each of the blades that stick out again from his spine. There's again tail articulation, something not advertised on the back of the packaging. And while, yeah, it does look like the legs still have posability, the legs nor the arms can be things that you can swivel. But yeah, you can certainly move as well. The head that can rotate all the way around. Again, you're going to have the same problems with the spikes on the back there as well. The skin of him, if I could describe it as skin, kind of looks more like the hide or the side of a tree trunk, the actual bark portion. Really like the coloring on this one. I especially like the fact they've given him like a very dark, sinister eye, like those dark red pupils. There seems to be just a little bit of paint problems on my one eye, not my eye, Godzilla's eye. This other eye seems pretty clean. I got a little bit of a mess there on the side of the corner of his eye, but other than that, it's a neat looking Godzilla. I don't know if I would say it's my favorite though, as we move territory over kind of more to now the center section. We're just going to just adjust the camera here quickly. Picking up Rodan, he is a bit of a breaker of the mold. Like all the other molds are kind of essentially kind of Godzillas with big giant bottom legs, smaller, shorter arms. Rodan basically doesn't have that. He still has the head swivel that you can rotate back and forth, but like his arms are really relegated to this pose. You can't obviously move them, and you can't move his tail either. That's something that's permanently attached to the way they've sculpted the backs of the wings. Just to compare it along with the other Godzilla, this is the Godzilla from 1995. Godzilla is quite a lot taller than Rodan. He's a lot bigger and bulkier here as well. I do like the look of Rodan. I hope at some point we are going to be getting other monsters above and beyond simply just getting Rodan. Of course, we got the bad guy of Mechagodzilla in there as well, but I would love to maybe see them do other characters, other villains there in the Godzilla films also as well, also done in this Vinimate treatment. The head sculpt for Rodan is nicely handled here, providing, again, there we go, get the camera there to focus. His beady little eyes, not to mention his sharp little teeth inside of his, I guess, would this be still a bill? I would imagine it'd probably be still a bill. A nicely sculpted figure as well. Not much in the way of really posability on all of these figures, but still gets the job done. Moving then over to it, just in the vicinity of Rodan, we also have the 1995 Godzilla, which does bring in a lot of extra color here. Not only do I like the darker gray that they went with here, I'm just going to pick up 1954's Godzilla so you can see it isn't quite the same brown or same gray. It's actually got like a little bit of a hint of brown in there also as well. So it's a little bit darker of a gray. A little bit darker than the 1954 Godzilla. One thing I do like about this one, and this might be my favorite of the Godzillas that we get here. I love the eyes. Sort of hypnotic the way they've done the pupils being more of an orange color. And then the center iris section almost more of a, I guess, a mustard yellow. That same color motif also carries over down to the body here as well. With kind of just looks like he's got flames all over his torso, his legs, sides of his arms, and glowing spikes down the sides of his, or again, down the center section of his spine. He does have, again, tail articulation. You can swivel that back and forth. And again, head articulation. That's always good as well. I really think it would be fun, certainly, to have all these figures coming included with some small accessories. Helicopters, planes, parts of bridges, parts of buildings. You get the idea. Then moving on to the final set. This set includes 1962 Godzilla and Mechagodzilla. We're going to start things off first with Mechagodzilla, simply just because he's closest to everything else we've already had a look at. I like the look of Mechagodzilla quite a lot here. This shiny chrome that they decided to go with definitely nicely illuminates. The way that the light also just bounces off of it. Everything about him, of course, is more mechanized. Mechagodzilla, after all. There you can see they painted in what would be, I guess, his eyes, done in a yellow, and then on to the side there, you've got these little discs done in red. Articulation on this guy. You can actually freely rotate his head around. There's no limitation simply because he doesn't have the spikes further up there. But yeah, you can rotate his head all the way around. His little tiny hands. I think they did actually fire things, correct me if I'm wrong, in the movie. I love the fact that they've actually sculpted in the hands. Again, like, you can't move them. That's the whole point, really, of these Vinimates. Some Vinimates have actually had static articulation. You couldn't move anything on these, but I like to see at least that the Godzilla toys, these ones, do have the head articulation. Again, you can rotate the tail. Can you rotate the tail in this one? No, you can't, actually. Mechagodzilla, that's correct. It seems to be the only one that you can't rotate his tail. That's fine. It's still a nice-looking representation of Mechagodzilla, just shrunk down just a little bit. The last one that we're going to have a look at is Godzilla from 1954. Oh, sorry, correct myself, 1962. This was the one from 1954. You can see there are differences done to these ones. I actually think I like 1954's Godzilla just a little bit more from 1962's. 1962 seems to have almost more of a rounder snout. He's also a darker gunmetal gray also as well. His hands get afforded some additional color. It almost seems as if they've used the same hands. I mean, like, looking at the claws from the 54 to the 62, it does look like the claws and the actual fingernails seem to be identical to one another. Maybe in a case like that, they've actually used the same hands. Maybe possibly even used the same legs as well. Looking just again quickly at the spikes. Maybe, yeah, the spikes are the same as well. So this might be a case where they've carbon copied one mold from one to the other. The only change that they've made then is the head sculpt is different than the 1954 Godzillas. Again, I don't know if I like this one. I kind of looking again at all the Godzillas. My favorite, I think, is probably again, I would probably say is the 1995 Godzilla. I just love the coloring on this one. Articulation, though, on the 62 Godzilla, you can't rotate the head again. You're going to run up to against the backs of the spikes there. And again, no arm articulation or leg articulation. Looking at the sets of the three here, my favorite is still, I don't know, I'm really landing on 1995. That's been a lot of dates in this review. 1995's Godzilla as my favorite of the sets. I like the coloring. I like the darker gray and how well that works with the orange that they've done into his eyes. It really pops on this particular figure. But again, the beauty of these two is that you're not having to buy them individually. You don't have to buy just one at a time to complete the set of 6. Instead, rather, you can actually just pick yourself up the set of 3 and get each of the sets together to give us a total of 6. What is your favorite? Let me know down below in the comments section. And again, a big thank you to the folks over at Diamond Select that did provide the sample of the new Godzilla Vinimate 2-pack vinyl figures that we could have a look at in this review. Hey now, if you are new to this channel, you're enjoying the content that you're seeing, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell notification so you're going to get those reminders all the time of when new videos are going to be popping up. And in case you are curious to check out more from Diamond Select, at the very end of this video popping up will be a playlist, and you can see all the stuff that Diamond Select has done over the years and all the things I've reviewed here on this channel. There is going to be more Diamond Select reviews coming your way, so keep your big giant King of the Monster peepers peeled, because yeah, keep your eyes peeled to this channel, because there's definitely going to be a lot more content coming your way. As always, thanks for watching. See you guys next time.